At these brothers. You know what, man? We must learn to scale the walls in life, right? When I say the walls in life, I'm really speaking to the mental barriers that keep us in a box our whole lives, man. Those mental barriers that keep us from like accomplishing what we're supposed to be accomplishing. You know, those mental barriers that keep us amongst the land of the common our whole lives, right? We got 3:07 a.m. September the 12th, 70 degrees. I'm actually getting ready to go to bed, man, instead of just waking up this morning. But scaling these walls in life, brothers, is everything. Like learning how to scale these walls is everything. I can remember, man, when I did my first 5K. And I want to say this was around 2012, man. And for some reason, I just kind of it was one of those points in life where I had to have a paradigm shift. You know, kind of like when I started skydiving, I had to have a paradigm shift. Anyway, back in 2012, man, I just got a wild hair up my ass and said, you know what? I want to start running 5Ks. And the craziest thing, man, the very first 5K I chose to run was a mud run 5K. You know what I'm saying? It was called a jailbreak. And it was here in Dallas, man. I wasn't even living in Dallas yet. It was called a jailbreak. And this run, man, it came to Dallas maybe once or twice a year back then. I can't remember. And it was just like you were simulating getting out of prison, like a prison run, right? Jailbreak. You had people in prison uniforms. You had people in costumes. And it was a 5K. It was a 3.1 mile run through the woods. And it just so happened, man, the day before the jailbreak, man, it just poured down raining and they almost canceled it. So all the obstacles they had set up, man, were obstacles times 10, right? And I can remember running this thing, bro. And I remember at one point in time, there was like, I'm assuming that the day before, it was like a little shallow stream. But by the time we ran it, man, we had water at least up to the belly button, man. And, you know, you had some of those short ladies running it, man. And it was, you know, and it was almost like walking across a small lake, man. And, you know, it's one part of that run, man, that sticks in my head, man. I just can't get this out. I remember like there was a point where we were going through these like mud pits by the size of 2 or 3 graves to kind of give you an idea. And you would go through this pit, go down to the bottom. It would probably come up to chest high, mud, straight mud. And the people that came out of it, they would turn around and help you out. Right? That was the only way you could make it out, right? And I can remember, man, coming out this mud pit and running to the next obstacle, and there was this lady in front of me. And you know, she was jogging. I mean, from the waist down, her everything was just mud colored. And she just stopped to look down, man, and she was like, oh, snap. Her shorts were still back there in the mud pit. I don't know if it was shorts and her drawers, but she had to go back to the mud pit and get her shorts out of her, man. I just can't forget that, right? But the thing, man, that stands out in my mind, bro, you know, we probably went through 7, 8, maybe 10 obstacles. But the main obstacle, man, was at the very end, right? And the thing is, once you got to the very end, man, there was a wall that you had to scale, and it wasn't straight up and down. It was probably, you know, it was probably, you know, a good sized wall. And I say that wall was maybe 12 to 15 feet. You know, if I was driving down the highway, it was a wall that would probably hit the bottom of a bridge, right? And they had all these ropes coming off of it. And the last obstacle was to climb this wall, right? Now, you could go around the wall, but if you went around the wall and crossed the finish line, you wouldn't be able to get the medal. You would still get all the prizes and the free beer and all this stuff at the end, but you couldn't qualify to get the medal, right? And as I'm coming up on this wall, you could easily see people just, I mean, going around this wall like didn't even give it a thought. It was after running, you know, at that point, at running three miles, and you're down to the last 10th of a mile, and you see this monumental. You know what I'm saying? I can understand how some people are just like, you know what, man, I'm at the end, like I'm done. But I would say that, man, I would say only 20% of people that came up on that wall attempted to climb it. Only 20% of people that came up on that wall attempted to climb it, man. And of course, your boy attempted to climb it. And of course, it took me a while to do it. It was slippery, but it got done, man. But after the fact, it just made me understand like how a lot of people operate. It made me understand why certain people in life, obtain certain things, do certain things, and some people just don't. And I understood then, man, that the far majority of people, when it comes to larger than normal obstacles, bro, won't even try. A lot of people won't even try. So when I'm talking about scaling these walls of life, man, to get to, bigger and better places, most people, it's not that they can't do it. They don't even know if they can do it because they won't even try. I remember, man, I can remember, and even now, just, I talk to a lot of people about the entrepreneurial journey. And I talk to a lot of people, man, with skill sets that could pay them in a major way in life. And, and I'll talk to these people, man, and I can kind of say, hey, you know what? You can call this play. You can call this play. You can make this move. You can do it like this. And bro, you're going to get a return on it. And a lot of people will say, yeah, I know. Or I know a lot of people with certain skill sets or abilities that's like, man, like, why are you still working for $7.49 when you know how to do this? When people are craving to get this kind of service from somebody. And you got to understand, it takes me back to that wall. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people can do this thing, but they won't even try. Like it's too big of a challenge for them. So I want to say this, man, like when you're talking about scaling the walls, man, like a lot of times you just got to go within and eliminate a lot of the fears in you, bro. A lot of the fears in you. Because you got to understand this, man. If there's something inside of you, if there's something inside of you that gives you the ability to climb the walls of life and you don't, it's almost disrespectful to the creator, man. I'll call it what it is. It's disrespectful to the creator, brother. I know there's a chapter or a verse in the Bible that talks about the talents. And I believe, I don't know if it was a farmer. I don't know the whole scenario, but it was talking, it pretty much boiled down to God giving man talents. And I think he gave one man 10 talents or 5 talents or 7 talents. I think he gave one man 5 talents, and then he gave another man like 3 talents. And then he gave one man 1 talent, right? Or something like that. And then when God came back, right, to say, hey, you know what did you do with this talent I gave you? The man he gave 7 to said, hey, you know what? I flipped it. And got 21, right? The man he gave 5 talents to, he said, you know what? I flipped it. I took this thing you gave me, I gave it to the world, I shared the gift. And I created a good situation for myself. I flipped 5 into 15, right? And God was saying, you know what, y'all brothers did a good job. And then the brother he gave 1 talent to, he said he went to this brother and said, hey, you know what? Like show me your return. Show me how you flip this thing, right? And I believe it says something like this man, I think he buried his talent under the ground or something like that, right? He buried his talent under the ground. In other words, God gave him something to flip. God gave him something that would open up doors in his life. And instead of taking that gift and perfecting that gift over the course of his life and giving that gift to the world to get a return on it, it said this man hid his gift. And then it said something like, and this part sticks out in my mind, God said, like, you slothful servant or something like that. In other words, you sorry motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Is what it came down to. And a lot of times, man, that's what source energy is saying to us. You have this skill, or you have this talent, you have this ability, you have this certain knowledge that the far majority of your brothers and sisters don't have, and you want to just bury it in the ground. You just want to cover it up. You want to preserve it for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And you want to go like the book I read the other day. You want to go slave like the animal instead of letting that light shine, instead of giving that gift to the world. Like, you sorry motherfucker, like God said, man. So man, like you have to take what God gave you and at least try. At least attempt to climb the wall. When was the last time you woke up and did exactly what you wanted to do? When was the last time you woke up and said, you know what? I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is, but I'm just going to wake up and be great. Be my own version of myself. I'm telling you, brothers, you haven't achieved true freedom until you can wake up and do that. Now, I've been talking about what it feels like to wake up every single day and it feels like Saturday. Now it's time I show you how I got to that point. Now it's time that I'm allowing people to work with me directly. I'm not talking about taking some course and never hearing from me. I'm talking about working with me directly. I'm talking about you networking with the people I'm networked with. I'm talking about you learning exactly what I did to get from corporate America to true freedom. I've been talking about this freedom for so long. I've been saying every day should be Saturday. Now is your time to click this button and learn from me directly. Let me show you the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine going to my deathbed, man, and not swinging at life. Like, hell, I'll take a L. I'll take a L before I just sit on the sideline and watch those play the game. Hell, I'll start a business and take a L. I'll start a weight loss or a fitness program and take a L. I'll try to take a class to learn how to invest money and take a L. But damn it, I'm gonna try. Like I can still remember, man, like running to that last wall, bro. Everybody's muddy, everybody's dirty, everybody's tired, and seeing people just say, you know what, go around that wall, man, like the ocean was parting. Going around that wall, and it's just like, man, yeah, we tired, but bro, you're not gonna even grab the rope and try to pull yourself up. Like, if you try and you just can't do it, then take that L with pride, man. At least your chest is up. But you don't even try, bro. And I'm just talking about all the areas of life, man. Like we have to try, man. You gotta understand, you know, and I hear people like, you know, when you listen to videos about, you know, from whether it's like the Andrew Tates or the Luke Belmars or the, you know, just that area of conversation. And when they say, you know what, it's so easy nowadays to get ahead because the far majority of people, they won't even play the game. So if you just put a little bit of effort in, you're gonna win. You're gonna be amongst those that are, you know what I'm saying? If you at least just grab the rope and try to pull yourself up like you don't even know. So try, bro. Try, and like when it comes to the walls in life, man, that are gonna get us to the next level, that are gonna separate us from our other brothers and sisters, the first thing we have to do, man, is try, bro. Simply try. And another thing I learned from that, man, is we have to be divergent minded. And I'm not sure the actual definition of divergent, but it's something like your mind is always looking for a way to get out of the programming or your paradigm. Like when you hit obstacles, you don't just say, okay, you know what, this is it, I surrender. Like your mind is always churning, saying, no, there is a way to get out of here. There's a way to get out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? We must become divergent minded. And what I mean by that is, man, like we must learn to, or we must figure out how to get ourselves out of the programming. And when I say programming, of course, I'm talking about just the general, of course, I'm talking about the same programming that everybody gets when they go to kindergarten, all the way through 12th grade, college, doctorate, you know, all that stuff. There's a program in there. There's a programming there. Like we hold the education system up high, but the education system is designed to keep us in prison. Like, y'all do know that, right? Like this is not breaking news to y'all, right? It's not teaching you how to go out and thrive and create your own and become successful and free. Hell no. It's teaching you to walk off that stage, put the handcuffs on, and walk your ass down the street and spend the next 55 years, breaking rocks into little rocks. That's what it's designed to do. The things that come on the television, man, especially like in our community. When we're promoting certain artists, when we're promoting certain levels of toxicity in our music, like that's for a reason. Like we could easily find people with the same skill level or better that are talking about healthy things, that are talking about building families, that are talking about building communities. We could easily do it. It's all over the place. I got partners that make music 10 times better than some of the music I hear on the radio that's talking about positive things. But it's designed to keep a certain people to ground level. Right? The movies we watch, it's designed to keep a people to a ground level. So when I say divergent minded, I'm saying we must be people that see this, understand this, and can think our way outside of this. Can say, you know what, I see the programming. Hell, you might see me dance to a little bit. I might bump it going down the road a little bit, but I understand what it is. And I understand how to climb, how to scale that wall, man. Even outside of the programming, man, you got to understand this. A lot of us are restricted, or a lot of us fail to be able to climb over that wall. I'll say it like that. Not just due to the world's programming, but a lot of times to our family generational programming, which falls up under the label of trauma. In a lot of conversations, right? Man, you have to understand, man, like, and this is pretty much going to apply to everybody. Not everybody, let me not say that. A lot of people are subject to certain mindsets and ways of thinking and ways of being strictly because of the environment they grew up in. Right. And like I've said a million times, it's not about pointing the finger at mom and daddy and them or uncle and them. Like a lot of times you got to say, you know what, this came from somewhere. Most of the time, not all, but most of the time you got to say, you know what, this came from somewhere. Mom and daddy might have got this trauma from grandmama and them. Grandmama and them got it from grandmama and them. You know what I'm saying? But at some point in time, you got to call it what it is. At some point in time, you got to look around and say, you know what, man, like this way of thinking has always kept me in a certain mental state, has always kept me staring at a wall and not having the ability to climb it. And what I mean is sometimes a lot of our trauma keeps us in a certain financial level. Like if you saw mom and daddy, grandmama and them spending money a certain way, never having, then that's part of your identity that you think that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Even if it applies to our health. Everybody in your health, in your family is big bone. Diabetes runs in your family. High cholesterol runs in your family. It's just in everybody. No, brother, it's because of the trauma. It's because you saw everybody cooking with neck bones and 30 pounds of sugar. That's the issue. It's not in the DNA, it's in the issue. Even when it comes to, and this is a big one, even when it comes to relationships, a lot of the way we enter and exit relationships is because of what we saw at home. And that's only going to get worse because, with single parent, single mother, single father households nowadays, it becomes less and less that children are seeing healthy relationships. Like for a child to be able to come in from school or come in from work and see mom and daddy in a healthy situation. Like we don't think about that, but that's huge. For your child to be able to come in and see you and your husband or you and your wife laying on the couch, Netflix and chilling, hugging each other, kissing on wifey's neck. Y'all in the kitchen, kissing on each, having healthy conversations, cooking meals together, going on date nights. Like that stuff seems so simple, but you have to understand that when a young man or a young lady never sees that and goes into the world and tries to build a relationship, or if they saw other parts of trauma, they saw mom and daddy fighting and boxing each other and whatever, like they're taking that to the future. And a lot of times people's relationships would be doing a certain thing strictly because of what happened back in, 20, 30 years ago. So when I say we have to become divergent minded, I'm saying we have to be people that can just constantly think our ways out of the box. Like we're always thinking, we're saying, you know what? Okay, it may take you 30 years. It may take you 40 years of trying to figure it out. It may take you losing a certain amount of monies. It may take you, gaining 20 pounds, losing 30, gaining 45 pounds, losing 25. You know what I'm saying? It may take you going through that. It may take you going through relationships saying, hey, you know what? I keep getting the exact same result. Like, let me keep figuring this out. It's going to take me a while, but let me figure it out. Let me try to climb this wall. You know what I'm saying? And at some point we'll do it, brothers. At some point we'll do it. It takes me back to that story I was talking about the other day when Price Pritchett was talking about, when Price Pritchett in the book You Squared was talking about, first chapter, talking about that fly hitting the wall. When Price Pritchett said, I hear this fly hitting the wall, fly has no idea he's not getting through that wall. Like, I don't care what he does. I don't care if he hits weights. I don't care if he takes a seminar. I don't care what he does. That fly is not busting through that glass window, is what he said, right? He said, but if that fly just turns around and observes the same means he came through, like if he observes the same way he came in this room, he'll find his way out. And a lot of times, man, that's what we have to do. Like when we say, okay, you know what? I see this wall in life and I'm just going to keep going around. I'm not going to try, or I keep trying and I can't make it work. I can't make it work. A lot of times, man, it just takes us turning around and looking back at the place from which we came. And the answers are there. And I'm not saying the answers are there to point the finger at the past, but the answers are there to look back at the past and decipher what took place. Like decipher that thing that's saying, you know what is it making me hit this glass? Like, let me look back at where I came from and say, what is it that's making me keep banging my head against this window? What do I see back there that makes me scared to climb this wall? All I'm saying, brothers, is at some point, man, we must learn to scale the walls of our lives.